Have you ever been around an older woman and felt like something more was going on under the surface? Like she wanted you but was carefully hiding it behind subtle smiles, playful glances, or the way her tone softened when she spoke to you? It's one of those mysteries that so many guys overlook because they assume attraction is only obvious when it's loud and direct. Yet in reality, many older women communicate interest in far more nuanced ways. They might not come out and say it, but their eyes, their pauses, their little acts of attention tell a deeper story. And if you learn how to spot those hidden signs, you'll start to notice that what you thought was casual friendliness might actually be a woman carefully managing her desire for you while trying not to reveal too much. Now, why do older women hide their attraction in the first place? For one, there's the weight of expectation. Society often frowns on women showing open desire, especially when the man is younger. She doesn't want to be judged and she doesn't want to make herself vulnerable because admitting attraction comes with the risk of rejection or embarrassment. But behind those walls, the attraction is still there and it leaks out in signals that can be decoded if you know what to look for. Imagine walking into a room where she's sitting with friends and you catch her looking at you longer than necessary, not in an obvious way, but in those fleeting moments where her eyes meet yours and then quickly dart away as if she wasn't looking at all. That's not coincidence, it's a controlled slip, a sign she wanted to look but didn't want to be caught. And the way she hides it tells you she's interested but trying to keep it safe. Older women often disguise their attraction in ways that blend into normal interaction, but underneath there are layers. For instance, the way she laughs at your jokes even when they aren't that funny. Of course, anyone can laugh politely, but the key difference is when she leans forward as she laughs, touches your arm lightly, or adds a sparkle in her eye that lingers after the laughter fades. That's not just humor, that's chemistry. And it's in those subtle touches that her desire is revealed, even though she may frame it as casual. Another powerful indicator is how she remembers small details about you. Most people forget the little things you say in passing, but an older woman who wants you is quietly collecting these details, storing them, and using them to connect with you later. Maybe you mentioned your favorite coffee once, and suddenly she shows up with that exact coffee. Or you talked about a stressful day at work, and the next time she asks how that situation turned out. This kind of attentive memory is a hidden way of signaling she values your presence more than average, and it's her careful attempt at creating intimacy without saying the words directly. Now think about body language. When she positions herself toward you in a group, angling her body in your direction while others talk, it's not random, it's her subconscious gravitating toward you. When she crosses her legs and the top leg points in your direction, that's her focus aligning with her desire. When she mirrors your movements, leaning when you lean, smiling when you smile, she's syncing with your rhythm because she wants connection. These are signs often dismissed as coincidence, but when they stack up together, they paint a vivid picture. And when you pay attention, you'll see them again and again. There's also the way she tests the waters with her words. She might tease you lightly, calling you young man in a joking tone, but behind the humor is her way of drawing attention to the age gap without directly stating her attraction. She might ask about your dating life in a casual way, not because she's nosy, but because she's curious where she might fit in that picture. And she might use phrases that flirt with intimacy, like "your trouble" or "I bet you keep women guessing," which let her gauge your reaction without fully committing herself. If you respond positively, she'll lean in further. If not, she can retreat behind the shield of just joking. Sometimes the attraction comes through in her willingness to give you her time. Older women are often busy. They have careers, families, responsibilities, and yet when she rearranges her schedule for you, it's not by accident. It's because she values being near you. If she lingers after conversations, finding excuses not to leave, or offers to help you with something that doesn't really require her help, she's showing you care disguised as convenience. And make no mistake, time is one of the most valuable gifts someone can give, so if she spends more of it around you than necessary, it's one of the clearest hidden signs. But one of the strongest ways an older woman hides her desire is through the push-pull dynamic. She might act extra formal in front of others, keeping things professional or distant, but then in private moments, her guard drops and she becomes more playful, softer, more teasing. This contrast is deliberate. It's her way of protecting herself while still indulging in the attraction when she feels safe. If you've ever noticed her tone shifting depending on who's around, you've seen the mask and the real interest trading places. That's the duality of someone who wants you but doesn't want the world to know. Another overlooked sign is the way she compliments you. Instead of direct "you're handsome" remarks, she hides it in subtle observations. She might say, "that color looks good on you," or "you have such a calming energy," or "you're surprisingly mature for your age." Each of these compliments is layered. The surface is polite, but underneath is her attempt to express desire without making it obvious. Pay attention to the compliments that go beyond generic flattery, because those are the ones tied to her attraction. And let's not ignore touch. Physical touch is one of the most revealing signs of hidden desire, but it often comes disguised as casual. She might adjust your collar, brush lint off your shirt, or place her hand briefly on your back as you walk past. These touches may look innocent, but they're carefully chosen moments where she allows herself the excuse of contact. And the truth is, people don't touch those they don't feel comfortable with. So when she initiates it, especially repeatedly, it's her hidden signal of wanting closeness. Sometimes the attraction reveals itself in how she treats you differently compared to others. She might offer you food when she doesn't offer anyone else, laugh harder at your jokes, or make eye contact with you more frequently. The contrast is the giveaway. If her behavior toward you stands out, even in subtle ways, it's because you matter more than she's letting on. Now, why does all of this matter? Because understanding these signs isn't just about figuring out if an older woman wants you, it's about learning how attraction works when people feel they have something to hide. It teaches you to pay attention to the quiet signals that most people ignore. And the more you understand these cues, the more you'll see that attraction doesn't always announce itself with bold statements. Sometimes it whispers through gestures, glances, and carefully chosen words. Imagine sitting with her during a casual dinner, and as the conversation flows, you notice her leaning closer, her voice lowering, her laughter coming easier. You notice her checking her reflection when she thinks you're not looking, adjusting her hair or touching her necklace, as if trying to highlight her femininity. These are not random, they're subconscious preparations. The quiet ways she positions herself as attractive to you, while maintaining plausible deniability. The truth is, attraction, especially when hidden, is like a coded language. Once you learn the code, you can read it everywhere. And once you understand how older women conceal their desire, you'll find yourself recognizing the difference between politeness and interest, between coincidence and intention. And once you see those hidden layers of attraction, you can't unsee them. Suddenly you start to realize that the way she holds eye contact just a fraction longer than normal isn't casual, that the way she asks about your day with genuine curiosity isn't small talk, and that the way she playfully teases you about being younger is really her way of pointing out the very thing that excites her most, that she wants you despite or maybe because of the difference in age. The trick is not to overthink one single behavior, but to notice the pattern. One glance might mean nothing, one laugh might just be friendly, one touch might be accidental. But when all of these keep showing up together, the lingering glance, the soft touch, the flirty tease, the way she listens more closely than anyone else, that's when you know it's not coincidence. That's when you know she wants you, even if she's doing everything she can to keep it hidden. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Sometimes older women hide their attraction not just because they're afraid of being judged, but because they're testing you. They want to see if you're perceptive enough to catch the signals, if you're confident enough to handle the dynamic without needing them to spell it out. In a way, the hiding is part of the flirtation. It creates tension, a game of discovery, where the thrill comes not from her announcing her interest, but from you gradually uncovering it. This cat and mouse energy is intoxicating because it builds anticipation. You start to notice her slipping, she starts to notice you noticing, and suddenly the air between you is charged with possibility. Think about the way her tone of voice changes when she speaks to you. Around others, she might be sharp, businesslike, or casual, but with you, her voice softens, grows warmer, sometimes dropping just a little lower, as if she's subconsciously flirting. That tonal shift is not something she can easily control. It leaks out of her when she feels a spark. If you've ever noticed that her conversations with you feel more personal, more intimate, like she's letting you into a side of her no one else sees, that's her attraction breaking through her mask. And then there's proximity. A woman who wants you but is hiding it will often find excuses to be near you. She might position herself next to you in a group photo, sit closer than necessary in a meeting, or stand just a little too close when you're talking. These are tiny decisions, often disguised as convenience, but they're actually her way of gravitating toward you without admitting it. Pay attention to how often she closes the gap between you, because closeness is rarely accidental. What's fascinating is how older women often express hidden attraction through subtle nurturing behaviors. She might ask if you've eaten, offer you advice, or show concern for your well-being. On the surface it looks maternal or caring, but underneath it's her way of investing emotionally in you. That protective concern is a clue, because people don't go out of their way to care for those they don't feel connected to. It's her way of showing love without saying the words. Another clue is jealousy.
She might hide her attraction most of the time, but if another woman enters the picture, you'll see flashes of it. Maybe she suddenly goes quiet when you mention another woman, or she playfully criticizes the girl you're talking to, pointing out flaws in a way that seems casual, but is actually her insecurity leaking through. Jealousy is hard to mask, because it's raw emotion, and if you see it, you're seeing her guard slip. But here's the part that really separates casual friendliness from hidden desire: the emotional energy she invests in your conversations. Does she light up when you enter the room? Does she lean forward, hang on your words, respond with enthusiasm that's noticeably stronger than her interactions with others? If yes, then you're seeing attraction in action. Energy doesn't lie, and when her energy shifts around you, it's because she feels something deeper than she's admitting. Sometimes the signs are even quieter, almost invisible to the untrained eye. She might send you late night messages under the guise of asking something trivial, but in reality, it's her way of staying connected. She might like your social media posts more than anyone else's, but justify it by saying she's just supportive. She might casually bring up your name in conversations with mutual friends, not realizing that her repetition of you reveals how much you're on her mind. These small habits are like breadcrumbs leading straight to her desire. Now here's what makes this whole dance so compelling. An older woman who hides her attraction is often more intentional than someone younger. She's lived long enough to know the risks, the gossip, the complications. So if she still shows you these signs, if she still lets those cracks in her armor appear, it means the attraction is strong. She wouldn't let herself risk exposure unless what she felt for you was powerful enough to break through. That's why these signs carry so much weight, because they're not casual. They're deliberate slips of the heart. And it's not just about desire. When an older woman wants you but hides it, she's often fighting herself, balancing between caution and craving. You'll see it in the contradictions. She pulls you closer with her warmth, but pushes you away with her words. She flirts in private, but keeps things formal in public. She laughs freely with you one day, but acts distant the next. These contradictions aren't rejection. They're proof of the inner battle she's fighting. She wants you, but she's afraid of what it means. She wants you, but she doesn't want to lose control. When you begin to see these contradictions, not as confusion, but as signals, the picture becomes clear. The hesitations, the mixed messages, the careful disguises, they're all evidence of desire, wrapped in caution. And if you're patient, if you respond with confidence and understanding, you'll see her guard slowly fall. The laughter will become freer, the touch is bolder, the conversation's more personal, until one day you realize she's not hiding anymore. But here's the most important lesson of all. Recognizing these signs is not about manipulation, it's about awareness. It's about respecting the delicate balance she's trying to maintain, while also honoring your own intuition. If you see the signs, don't rush, don't push. Let the attraction unfold naturally, because the beauty of hidden desire is in its slow reveal, the way it builds tension, the way it turns every glance into a secret, and every conversation into a game of double meanings. And if you're wondering why this matters so much, it's because hidden attraction creates some of the most powerful connections. When someone hides their feelings, it's because those feelings are too strong to be casual. They're worth protecting. So when you uncover them, when you finally see what she's been holding back, you're stepping into something real, something meaningful, something that carries the weight of everything she was too afraid to say out loud. So the next time you're around an older woman, and you notice the subtle touches, the stolen glances, the playful teasing, the way she invests in your world more than necessary, don't dismiss it. Pay attention, because chances are, what you're seeing isn't coincidence. It's attraction in disguise. It's desire wrapped in caution. It's her way of wanting you while trying to protect herself. And once you learn to read those signs, you'll never mistake them for anything else again. Now let's bring this full circle. You started by wondering how to tell if an older woman wants you but is hiding it. Along the way, you've learned about the secret language of body language, the hidden meaning in her words, the subconscious clues in her tone, her energy, her time, her attention. You've seen how jealousy exposes what she tries to hide, how contradictions reveal her inner conflict, and how patterns of behavior tell the truth she won't admit. And through it all, one truth shines brighter than the rest. When an older woman wants you, even if she hides it, her desire cannot be contained forever. It will always find a way to show itself, and if you're paying attention, you'll see it. So here's the hook I want to leave you with. Every glance, every laugh, every casual touch could be telling you a story you've never learned to read. And once you learn to read it, you'll see a world of hidden attraction unfolding around you. A world where older women don't just hide their desire, they reveal it in whispers, in smiles, in signals meant for the man perceptive enough to see. And if you're that man, if you're the one who notices, then you're already halfway there. Because the truth is, she doesn't want to hide forever. She's waiting for the right moment, the right sign from you to let herself be seen. And when that moment comes, everything changes. So pay attention, be confident, trust what you see. Because the signs are always there waiting for you to notice. And once you do, you'll never look at her the same way again. That's the secret of knowing when an older woman wants you but is hiding it. It's not in the words she says, but in the ones she doesn't. It's not in the moves she makes, but in the pauses between them. It's in the subtle dance of attraction she performs every time you're near, hoping you'll finally see what she's been trying so hard to conceal. And once you see it, the only question left is what will you do about it? Because sometimes the greatest connections aren't the ones spoken loudly, but the ones whispered in silence, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone bold enough to uncover them. And maybe, just maybe, that someone is you.